You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button. LSU football Tigers continue rolling through spring practice, and on Thursday, Blake Baker met with reporters after practice. And actually, it was interesting because Baker met with reporters on Thursday, but Wednesday morning, he was a guest on Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. And there was something that he said on Wednesday morning that struck me more than anything during the course of that 15-minute interview or so. And it was when they started talking about Harold Perkins, which clearly is going to be such an integral part of this team in the season. I want the whole thing, by the way. I want that whole thing, by the way. We play this, but please grab the whole thing. First of all, this was the part where he started talking about Harold Perkins and the effect of the injury on Perkins, big picture.
Man, Perk is extremely locked in, and I said this when it happened, and I didn't mean it in a negative light, but in some ways, being hurt might have been the best thing that ever happened to him. Kind of just sit back, let the game unfold from a mental standpoint in front of him. But the attention to detail, the work that he's putting in with Jack Marucci downstairs with the VR, obviously not being able to get the physical reps on the field, he could easily take it easy and just come to the hour film meeting that we do every single day, and that'd be it. But he's going above and beyond and answering questions, and he's extremely locked in. So I think he's going to have a big year next year.
The other part of that on the back end is the other part that I want to get to. I'll have Muse grab it, is where he talks about Perkins and the expectation he had coming in. I'll get to that in a second, but let me address the first two things that he said there. One, about the injury being the best thing. And the way he set it up, he was very clear. He's like, I don't mean this to sound as a negative. Whenever it happens, because obviously you're talking about a player being injured, but think of it in these terms. Sometimes when a quarterback's struggling and they pull him for a series and they say, man, just go sit and watch. Like, just watch the game unfold from the sideline and process it differently. When you're not in the fire making those decisions, maybe you can see things from the sideline you don't see on the field. And that was kind of the vibe I got from that comment from Blake Baker about Harold Perkins. Like, instead of him being caught up in the wash with these 300-pound linemen every play, like, just go stand on the sideline and watch for a minute. Maybe that'll help process the game. The other thing he said there that was pretty fascinating was talking about the VR. So if you remember, they have that VR room in football ops, and Jaden Daniels kind of made us all aware of this because he would basically go simulate the game. And I've seen the room. It's, if you're where we go for interviews into the team room, you pass this room. It's a glass wall, and you look in, and it's, 10 yards wide, maybe 5 yards long. It's a small room, but you could stand in there with a screen in front of you, and you can simulate the game. So here you have Harold Perkins not getting physical reps because he physically can't be on the field, but he's putting these VR goggles on and getting all the mental reps that you would otherwise, training his mind to play the position, which I think is really pretty awesome. This was the rest of that cut that Baker said again in the interview with Hester and T-Bob.
And I don't want to I think part of the problem, in my opinion, has been the expectation that's been put on him. And obviously with a player that talent and that caliber, we still got to remember that he's 20 years old or whatever he is. So, but I do think he's going to have an outstanding season. I think he's really focused, and I think between him and West and Devon and Witt and some of these Ty Singletons coming along, and then we get 3 more freshmen. I think they're all gonna complement each other really, really well. So I don't think the onus is going to be on, here's Harold Perkins. He's the star of the defense. I think we have a lot of really, really good players in that room that feed off of each other, make each other better.
Think about that. So, let me say it a different way. For 2 years after Perkins exploded onto the scene as a freshman, our conversations about LSU defensively have started and stopped with Harold Perkins. Is he going to play? Like, all last offseason. Remember, when they hired Blake Baker and the word was they were moving him back to off-ball linebacker, the whole offseason, can Harold Perkins successfully make the switch? It was the number one talking point for the entire defense. coming off an historically bad year. The number one talking point wasn't about the secondary, wasn't about Blake Baker. It was Harold Perkins moving off the ball again. Yo, right now, nobody's talking about Harold Perkins. And I don't mean that to be disrespectful. It's just there is an out of sight, out of mind component here. He played 4 games, missed the rest of the season. They went through this offseason where they went and brought in a glut of talent at every position defensively except linebacker. And, man, we're talking about DJ Pickett, and we're talking about Mansour Delane, and we're talking about Patrick Payton and Jack Pyburn. We're talking about all these guys defensively. Tamarcus Cooley playing safety. And we're not even, like, you're 5, 6, 7 talking points defensively before you get to Harold Perkins, and you forget the fact that this is a freakishly athletic dude that finally, after 2 years of moving him around in a position that doesn't fit his skill set, finally he's going to be moving back into a role that actually does fit him. So when Blake Baker met with reporters on Thursday, this is the first time. But Brian Kelly, I just went like Les Miles Ed Ogeron in my brain from I was like sequentially, Nick Saban going through sequentially all the coaches. Brian Kelly had talked about Harold Perkins moving to the star, but this is the first time I've heard Blake Baker talk about why they're moving Harold Perkins to star.
I just think the star is so versatile. And quite frankly, you know, we sat down at the end of the year and I said, where are you most comfortable? And he said the star. And so he's got that capability to still allow us to be flexible from a coverage standpoint. But I do think that he's a really, really good space player. I think, again, with that position, you're able to do a lot of different things with him. And so it'll also keep offenses not necessarily knowing where he's going to line up every single snap, you know, whether it be pressure, whether it be coverage, whether it be on the line of scrimmage. So we're able to do a lot of different things. That's kind of like the little secret sauce in this defense. The more position flexibility that guy gives you, the more versatile we can be on defense.
Yes! Yes! And the truth shall set you free. Y'all, for 2 years, we've all been saying this, and I get it. I get it. Perkins wanted to be a 3-down linebacker in the NFL. He wanted to play off the ball. I get it. And you know what? I want all my hair back. And I want to be 6'3". And I want to run a 4.3 40. None of that's going to happen. Okay? And now all that stuff is more likely for Harold Perkins because he's a great athlete. I'm not. But the point being, like, being self-aware and understanding what you are in anything in life, if you're a great football player or if you're a dentist or if you're a machinist or whatever you do, having self-awareness in life is a huge part of anybody's success. Understand what you are and be great at the thing you're great at. Yes, Harold Perkins in space. Yes, he's a queen piece on the chessboard. Yes, you can move him around and defenses know where he's going to be. You line him up in the slot. Is he coming on a blitz? Is he dropping into coverage? Is he playing the run? Is he going to run out space? Yes, he is a versatile defensive player. Stacking him in the middle of a defense and having him shed 300-pound offensive linemen never made sense, no matter how many times they tried to explain it, and I understand why they did it. You have a player like Harold Perkins. He wants to play off the ball. He wants to be a 3-down linebacker in the NFL, wants to show the NFL what he can do. It's like in baseball, if you got a guy that's a power hitter but trying to prove he can play a position. So you stick him at third to see if he can do it, and you realize, man, he's got 2 left feet and and a bad arm. Like, do the thing you're great at, man. And the fact that Blake Baker said Harold came after the season and said, I want to play the star. Great. Get back to doing the thing you do awesome. Like a freaking cheetah in space, tearing people down as they're trying to get to the edge, coming on a blitz and annihilating quarterbacks, turning and covering and dropping into coverage and intercepting passes. Yes, do all those things. Because that's what's going to help best help this team win in 2025. And like we just said, man, there's a lot of people that aren't like it was break the huddle, wear 7. I think it'll be like that this year, at least not at the onset. There's too many things on this defense to worry about. It's going to make him even more versatile. Loved hearing that from Blake Baker about Harold Perkins. Get him healthy, get him right, get him ready to roll week 1 at Clemson. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.